Hello and welcome to Japanese Craft Beer Reviews. Today, a special edition. I am here with Al in Japan. Hello, Al.
Hi, everybody.
And we are both in Japan, and we are kind of sweating out the end of summer. It's still kind of hot here. How hot was it where you are, Al?
Unpleasantly hot and humid.
Yeah. It's about where I am. It was about 34 degrees or so, which would be maybe around 90 or so. Yeah, kind of just on the edge of unpleasant, but hopefully we'll have some cooler weather coming up. But of course, the best solution for that problem is BEER, and we have one for you today. In fact, we have two. We're going to look at a couple of beers from Thornbridge Brewery in the UK. And we have two beers to look at, and Al was kind enough to pick up these beers. And the first one we'll look at is this one called Green Mountain. And the second one we're going to look at is a double dry hopped version of their famous Jaipur IPA. But first, a little bit about Thornbridge Brewery. They're located in Derbyshire, UK, in the center of England. And they got their start in 2004 when Thornbridge Hall merged with Kelham Island Brewery. And they produced their first beer in 2005. They opened a second plant in 2009 and then changed their name completely to Thornbridge. And they've had several expansions since then. They've become quite popular. I personally have rated 8 of their beers on ratebeer.com, and all of them above 3.5, which is, reasonably high. RateBeer lists 620 different beers for this brewery, which is a lot, considering, 2005, they produced their first beer. So that's a lot of beers over a period of 19 years. And Untappd lists 500 beers. Thornbridge Brewery, they export to 35 countries, including Japan. And their most famous beer, again, is Jaipur, and we will look at that in a second video here today. Now, what would you like to add?
Well, I think you stole all my thunder there.
I stole all your thunder. Boom.
All of my thunder.
Right?
Actually,
it wasn't...
Well, just a little bit. I mean, they exported pretty early on to Italy, and then they expanded to 35 countries, as you said. I was really quite surprised that I think they're still independent, and that they really ramped up very quickly to expand to, I guess, South America. They're very available, and then throughout, at least Japan, they're certainly available. Yeah, we can, I found these at the basement of the Hankyu department store. There's a little world beer section where they have a couple of beers on taps, usually a Japanese one, maybe a German one, and another. And you can buy beers and drink them right there. It's a good deal. So if you happen to be in Umeda in Osaka and you want a quick beer or want to check out a few beers, maybe to, if they have some Kyoto Brewing beers there as well that you might want to occasionally, something a little bit more than Seijo Ishi. So, it might be a good thing to bring back a few if you are just visiting Osaka. So
Al's mentioning the Hankyu department store in Osaka, and also Seijo Ishi, which is a like a little specialty import store.
Yeah, direct. They do kind of direct importing, but they have Japanese goods as well. They make some of their own cookies, which are really good, by the way.
I can vouch for that.
You've tried those, and yeah, it's a nice little shop. In fact, if you go through Shinosaka, the Shinkansen station, and you're getting off there, there's one there. They have one in the station there, close to the Midasuchi line. And so you'll find them throughout, I think, throughout the country. So yeah, it's worth stopping into a Seijo Ishi just to see what they've got, what's going on in there.
Okay, thank you. All right, and I would imagine that Thornbridge is available in a number of other locations, certainly if you're in a large city in Japan. or
Yeah, and I'm sure a specialty shop will probably have a lot of their lineup. Usually I'll just see the Jaipur and maybe one other. They had these, I think that Jaipur, Green Mountain, and then the DDP, what is it? The double dry hopping version we're going to try later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was at the basement of the Hankyu department store in Osaka.
Okay. Well, shall we get to it? Let's take a look at one of the first beers, and I'm going to stop here. Action. Okay, Al, let's take a look at the first beer from Thornbridge, and it is this one. It is called Green Mountain, and this is a Hazy Session IPA.
Okay.
And it is 4.3% alcohol by volume, again, which is under the typical 5%, and 30 international bittering units. And this is a small batch version, and so it's not so widely reviewed on Rate Beer. Rate Beer gives only 333 ratings. The average is 3.63 out of 5. And 86th percentile for all beers on Rate Beer, and 96th percentile for its style, which is Hazy Session IPA, and there are probably quite a few of those. Untapped, 40,246 ratings, quite a few, and the average is exactly the same, 3.63 out of 5. Malt bill for this one.
Well, the masses have spoken.
Pardon? I'm sorry.
The masses have spoken. This must be a good beer.
Yes. Let me talk about the malt bill and the hops here real quickly. The malt bill is pale malt, wheat malt, and cara malt. And the hops are Galaxy, Mosaic, Citra, and Amarillo. A nice group of hops in this one. Okay. Al?
Right. So these are American. And I guess with the Jaipur, what was one of the things I'd read up on was that I thought Jaipur initially, I thought of it, oh, this is a British IPA, but well, not exactly. It's a craft IPA using American hops. And so
primarily, Amarillo, Mosaic.
At the time.
Galaxy, I believe, is Australian. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Mosaic, Citra, Amarillo, good solid US hops for sure.
Okay. And not this beer, but with the Jaipur, they're using, so it's a fusion. They've got Maris Otter, kind of a clear malt, Maris Otter malt. And so they're kind of fusing the British and the American styles, which I didn't know at the time. So I thought it was representative of British, but it's really kind of a British craft IPA, one of the early British craft IPAs. And so introducing
the American style IPA, the West Coast style to the British beer scene.
Right. And this, of course, this is being hazy. This is, they comment, Green Mountain is a place in Vermont. And so they're actually, this is literally East Coast hazy IPA. So this is their version of that. So
Jaipur would be west, and this would be East Coast.
Yeah, East Coast. I'm chomping at the bit, Nevitt. Let's
okay. Go ahead. Mine is open. I'm ready.
I'm wrestling with it. Here we go.
Okay.
All right. Anytime. Cheers.
Here we go.
Your time. Let me just get that for the starter. Okay. Oh, nice head. Okay.
What color would you say this is?
Well, it strikes me as light, almost transparent, not quite.
Yeah.
For a hazy, that's interesting take, right? It's not so opaque, but yeah, kind of a, what would I say? Kind of a, gosh, I don't know. I have to look at my color chart practically.
It's not very hazy.
It's darker than yellow.
Yeah.
Strawish, what's less than brown? I don't know.
Mm-mm. Yeah, it's certainly, I wouldn't say this is a hazy IPA, but okay, well, shall we give it a go here?
Yeah, definitely.
Cheers. Am I? Yeah,
Yeah, that aroma jumps out.
right. Yeah, so I'm getting the Galaxy, certainly the Mosaic, absolutely right away. We get a very nice tropical fruity nose.
Mm.
Maybe some rather pungent sort of grapefruit.
Mm.
What passion fruit? What would you say? What's in this?
Well, I couldn't resist.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
drinking.
okay.
So, yeah, nice blend of tropical fruit, very aromatic.
Extremely.
Really nice aroma on this. Boy, it just jumps.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I get the passion fruit, guava, pineapple, mango. It's kind of like a nice blend of everything.
Yeah.
But comes off as, you can kind of detect each of those characteristics of those different tropical fruits.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm gonna give it a sip.
Pineapple, I think you mentioned, yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
All right.
Wow. Yeah.
This is a hazy in flavor for sure.
Wow.
Not bombing the tongue like some hazies tend to really grab your
Right.
tongue with all those hops and I don't believe there's any oats or anything like that in this. Maybe that's why it's not. Maybe why it's not hazy. Hazies often tend to include oats and sometimes lactose.
Yeah. It's very mildly hazy, I guess. It's it lives up to its name as a session
Absolutely.
hazy IPA. Very light body.
Extremely.
Very light body, very refreshing, perfect for a summer. This is
Yeah.
going into a warm autumn or Indian summer. This is nice.
Yeah, again, some hazies tend to have so many of those hops that they grab your tongue, and it's not a stringency necessarily, but a kind of a tongue sense. It's a sensation on the tongue.
Right.
Yeah.
They kind of just, they don't, the oils kind of, if there's a lot of oil, from the resins of the hops, they just kind of don't let go. Your tongue is perpetually in a state of.
So this I would say is less juicy than most what we would consider an East Coast IPA or New England IPA.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I like it a lot. I'm still tasting. It's interesting because it still has a nice long lingering flavor. It's fruity.
Bitterness, yeah, light bitterness.
A moderate bitterness, very balanced though. The fruit and the bitterness are in balance. There's no, it's funny, it's light, but it's not thin. I would not, the flavor
That's a good point.
Sustains beautifully. Boy, this is a success. No wonder it's very highly rated. I think it's totally legit. That score is
light body, like you said, light, but doesn't go watery, which is nice.
No, not at all. The flavor still, I'm still tasting it. It's been
it stays with you. For sure. Nice. They did a good job on this one, for sure.
Definitely. This is how you make a session hazy IPA. This is like this could
without the haze. Yeah. I think they did a great job on this, and I'm not sure when this one came out, how long it's been out, but Rate Beer only 333 ratings, and such a popular brewery, I would expect more. But okay, final comments.
Wow. Well, yeah, it's a winner. If you see this anywhere, no matter where you are, if you happen to be in the UK or England or other territories out there, and you're familiar with Thornbridge, please leave comments. I'd certainly be interested to hear what people have to say from the motherland.
Mm-mm.
Mountain, geez.
Old Blighty.
Yes, as well as Americans, if those Americans on the
absolutely.
coast have tried that as a contrast, I'd be very interested. See what you guys think of it. Kind of challenge the style, you know, how far you can push a style in a certain direction. This is really successful.
Yeah. I think U.S. haze bros probably would say, "Oh, this is nothing. This is too light, too weak." But au contraire, I think it brings out flavors very nicely without bombing your tongue. You know.
Oh yeah, big success. This for me, when I mentioned that Osaka, the what's it, the department store, not Keihan, no, that's
Hankyu department store.
Hankyu, where I bought this. About a week prior, I had tried out the Issei Kadoya's Neko Neko Hazy IPA, another really great. That's a great Japanese one.
Neko Nehiki.
Try that. Now that one's meaty. That's got a nice.
That's a punchy one.
Full body.
Yes.
It's punchy. It's big volume.
Quite high in alcohol too, I believe.
Yeah, it's more like close to 8%, I think, on the alcohol. And boy, that's a brilliant one. Total, you know, very different version of the hazy than this. Both are fantastic. This, you know, that one, it also has a very long finish. The tropical fruits linger on and on. The one similarity is it's not overly sweet. There's initially the fruit sweetness, but that very quickly dials back. And I think there's something that maybe there's a little overlap between Thornbridge and Issei Kadoya in that they don't want a overly sweet. That's maybe the American palate, that tendency to have stuff that's just a little bit over risk cloying or a little too much on the too heavy, too weighty. By having too much residual sugar. And boy, this doesn't do it. And
no, this doesn't.
Echo didn't do it either. But two radically different versions, but really nice versions.
Yeah, and we should mention the hazy IPAs are the most popular style of beer currently in the world.
That's always surprised me. I've never quite wrapped my head around that.
I mean, they came out.
I like them.
2014, 15 or so, I guess around that time. And since then they've kind of taken over. So a lot of beer geeks have grown up starting out with hazy IPAs, and that's kind of their benchmark for what a tasty beer should be.
And we're the generation of the West Coast hopheads.
That's right. Yeah. Well, actually, even a little bit before that, Al, but So, okay. Well, we're going to wrap up here. And once again, this was Thornbridge Green Mountain Hazy Session IPA, 4.3% and 30 IBUs. Thank you, Al.
Thank you. A must buy. Definitely try this one out.
And thank you all for joining us. And we will be reviewing another Thornbridge beer. So please check that out as well. Okay. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.